Good morning, students. So we are going to start with your second chapter, a poem, A Tiger in the Zoo. I've already taught you the poem in the class, so I'm going to repeat in a very short summary today. So I'm going to read stanza one, stanza, and I'm going to repeat as a whole. So please follow me and get ready with your books. Okay, as you can see the poem in the screen. So, A Tiger in the Zoo by Leslie Norris. I have already taught you the poem about and also gave you the notes. So, we are going to start with the poem. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage. So we're going what we learned here, we learned that the tiger's appearance, yeah, how the tiger looks like. The tiger has very vivid strips on his body, the yellow body and with the black strip. The strips he's calling it is very bright and it's very vivid, it's distinct, it's very visible. Okay. So the few steps of his cage. So he was moving in his cage, in the four walls of his cage, he is moving from one end to the other end. And what's on pads of velvet quiet, which is he's talking about the paws of the tiger. The paws are referred to as it's velvety. It's a quality of a cloth. Velvet means a quality of a cloth which is very soft and very thick, and that cloth thing we are going like the paws are made of. It's when referred by the poet. So the poet says the pads are with velvet quiet, and he's moving with his velvet pad of paws. Okay, and he's quite rage. You know, rage means anger. He is very, very angry of something, and he is moving quietly. Okay. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Okay. So now poet says first about the zoo. Okay, he saw the tiger at the zoo, that he is moving in his quiet anger, in his quiet velvet paws. He's moving to the tiger in the cage from one end to the other. And the second, he's talking about the tiger in the forest. So he should be lurking. So the tiger should be actually, instead of moving in the cage, he should be lurking in shadow, which is in the dark forest. Yeah, and he should be hiding somewhere in behind the long grass, you know, long grass of forest. He should be hiding somewhere there and near the water hole where plump deer pass. Okay, in forest when the animals used to come, when they're thirsty, they used to go to the river and they used to go to the lake to have to drink water. So the poet is saying that a tiger should be somewhere in the jungle. He should be hiding behind the grass and he should be waiting for his prey. He should be hunting his prey, which is his the deer. Okay, in near the water hole. So he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, bearing his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. So he should be snarling. So again, the poet is talking about in the poor tiger in the zoo. Okay, sorry, in the forest. So he said that he should be snarling. He should be growling. You know, he should be roaring. He should be making other villagers fear with his voice. Yeah, he should be there. Like actually, the tiger should be in that motion near the houses and at the jungle's edge. You know, he should be there in the jungle's edge to see in the jungle, in the edge of the jungle, there are houses also we can see, right? Like it's not inside the deep of the jungle is talking about, it's the jungle's edge. The in the nearby jungle, there are villages, there are houses of people. So the tiger should be actually there scaring the villagers, the people around the jungle. Okay, bearing his white fangs, his claws terrorizing the village. So he should be showing his white fangs, you know, his teeth, the white teeth of his the big and sharp white teeth of the tiger, and his claws, which mean the paws and the nails that the tiger should be showing to the villagers and scaring in the forest. He should be there in the forest, not in the cell. But he locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. But the tiger is not in the jungle. Again, the poet comes back to the zoo now, and he tells that, but I cannot see the tiger in the jungle. He is locked, you know, he is been closed in that concrete cell. Concrete is cemented cell, which is very hard. He's in the cage. Yeah, his strength is behind bars, and his all the strength that he should have in the forest. We know that the tiger is very powerful, as tiger is very dangerous in the forest. But here, when a tiger is inside the cage, the tiger's strength is closed. The tiger is of no power. The tiger is of no strength because he cannot break that cell. Okay, that he should stalk stalking the length of his cage. So he is just not looking at the visitor, but he is stalking, means he is looking at the length, how long his cage is. He is not looking any other else, but he is just stalking at the cage. So he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So again, the poet, in the last stanza, the poet also talks about the tiger's emotional phase. See, the tiger, he used to be awake. He should not. He doesn't take rest. He is still imagining his life in his real home, which is in the jungle. He should be. He is very emotional, and he is hearing the last voice also at night. You know, the patrolling cars, whoever used to check the zoo, whoever used to go around the zoo, is every animal all right? Is all the visitors are out of the zoo, you know, to check the patrolling. That is the patrolling cars, you know, the security who has been looking after the zoo, and he hears the last voice of them at night. But he still didn't sleep. You know, the tiger is awake in the night, and he used to stare at the brilliant. You know, brilliant is bright, it's very shiny, glowing. His eyes in dark, we know the tiger's eyes used to shine very bright. So brilliant eyes at the brilliant star. So he's watching towards the sky at the stars. You know, the brilliant stars, the glowing stars. He used to watch through his glowing eyes. Okay, and he used to, maybe the poet referring that the tiger wants to go to the jungle, his real home. He doesn't want to stay in the zoo. Okay, so I am clear. I guess I am done with the poem here, and I have totally make you understand the poem like 4 times in the class. So students, you have learned the lesson properly, I guess. So you please remember the first and the first and last stanza is about the poem who is talking about the tiger in the zoo. Yeah, the poet is talking about the tiger in the zoo where he is suffering and he is very angry. He is wanting to go to the forest, his real home, and live his normal life. But he was not able to, since he is in the cell, he is in the zoo, and he cannot use his power and cannot hunt his prey. So in the middle three stanza, is talking about the poet is talking about the tiger who is in the jungle. He is leading a normal life. He is leading his normal life. He is hunting his prey. He is looking after everything, like how a tiger should live actually. So the poem is all about that. So remember students, the poet is here who is talking, not the tiger who is imagining. So you have to always remember this. The poet is wanting the tiger. The poet is confessing the feelings of the tiger in his own way. It's not the tiger who is talking in the poem. It's the poet who is talking in the poem and wanting the tiger to go to the forest because he should live of his life. Okay, the notes I've given you in the class itself, students. So be prepared with your test. So thank you, class.